Hello, Empath community. This is Eileen with Empath Heart Healing, and these are your encouragement tips for Sunday, October 24th through Saturday, October 30th. I sure hope everybody's doing great on your empath journey. Hope you're navigating the waters well. I know this week we had a full moon in Aries on October 20th, and full moons are traditionally a time for coming into completion and ending cycles, allowing ourselves to release patterns and habits, traits that are not so great, not so helpful. This particular full moon was intense. Everybody that I've been talking to, friends and clients, have either experienced sleepless nights for several days. Some people have had a lot of nightmares, a lot of clearing and releasing old paradigms of thought and behavior, and the releasing is showing up as nightmares or, just chaotic dreams where things are just, I guess it looks like chaos on the surface, but really what's happening is there's an integration of the new way of thinking, the new seeds that have been planted as cycles are coming to an end and things that no longer serve are releasing. But yeah, I've just friends and clients and family have been talking about the intense energies. Some people were discussing anger coming up and grief, a lot of grief. I've heard of a lot of grief this week. Today's Friday, so we're 2 days out from the full moon. This was a super blood moon, hunter's moon on October 20th. And it was also an interesting moon, although the full moons are typically associated with coming into completion. This particular moon had some really interesting energy or opportunities to also plant new seeds for what we want to experience now that we are releasing old cycles and patterns that don't work. So for those of you that do, full moon rituals and ceremonies, I'd love to hear, what you did and how you celebrate. I know for me, I have been releasing so many things for so many weeks, ancestral things, different kinds of generational things, thought process kinds of things, as well as releasing, karmic cycles, karmic relationships. I really let several things go recently, like in the last maybe 6 or 7 weeks, and just realized that these things no longer serve, and I'm not going to continue to allow them to be a part of my life. And that's very important, excuse me, because as empaths, we, I think many of us give so much, and we've kind of been doing that since we were young, and maybe have people-pleasing tendencies or give, to a fault where it actually drains us. So to muster up the strength and the courage to create a hard no and set boundaries and sometimes let people figure things out on their own, it can be really interesting. We can, if we're not careful, we can create codependent relationships where we, the empath, are always saving the day or helping people navigate their problems or problem solving or being their eternal counselor. And, it's beautiful that we have the capacity and that we have the care, but we also have to protect ourselves from energy drain. So full moons are really wonderful opportunities to let go of those traits, that are not serving, that are not helping, and allow us to align to higher truth and integrate new experiences that do serve our highest good. And actually, they serve the collective, not only the collective of empaths, but the human collective that we're here sharing our light with. They benefit more when we are well integrated and whole and healed and strong and confident and refreshed and energized. we are drained when we're not being true to ourselves and when we're sharing our light in areas of darkness where, our light doesn't benefit. Okay, so being able to recognize who are the people, what are the places, what are the situations, what are the experiences that really do honor my highest light, have the capacity to receive what I as an empath bring to the table, and what are the areas that do serve and what no longer serves. And having the courage to release what no longer serves is really a huge gift for an empath to be able to recognize and integrate. So that's always available during the full moons. It's available at any time, but during the full moons, that's really a wonderful time to release. So encouragement tips, release what no longer serves, and keep the channel clear. What is the channel? Your crown chakra, third eye, heart space, of course, your throat, because you're the instrument, but this is the voice box, the instrument that allows you to convey or communicate. Of course, there's your right and left hand chakras, which are for healing as well as writing. So as a channeler of light, as the instrument co-creating with the divine to help the human collective, you want to keep your channel clear. You want to keep your vessel clear. And so how do we do that? Well, we release and detox, and it's an ongoing practice, sometimes daily, sometimes, quarterly, sometimes annually. It depends on what you're working through. There's obviously, there's mental and emotional processes sometimes that need to be detoxed. Sometimes we have to clear and detox our energy field. There's physical detox, and including diet and nutrition. So when we think about releasing and detox, consider these areas: people, places, things, food, habits, toxic traits, personality flaws, ego-centered perspectives, maybe old values, and even nightmares, because sometimes we have nightmares, sometimes we have chaotic experiences while we're sleeping, and sometimes we actually have to detox from the experience that we had. So people, obviously that could be family, it could be old friends, it could be people you dated, it could be coworkers, anyone who's ever taken advantage of you or judged you or criticized you or makes you feel less than or goes out of their way to steal your light, contaminate your light, or make your life path difficult. Sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to release those individuals and detox from the residue that they left, from their energy signature. Places. So those of us who are empaths are very aware that certain places, certain communities, neighborhoods, and environments do affect us in profound ways. That can be very positive, and it can also be negative. And sometimes you don't even know why you are emotionally attached to a particular place or affected emotionally by a particular environment. This is why some people stay away from graveyards and some people stay away from hospitals. It's very difficult for them because of what comes up emotionally. So be aware of the places that you may visit on a regular basis that don't keep you in your highest light. And maybe you're consciously aware of why. Maybe there was a loss or a trauma that was experienced there. Or perhaps you have no idea why you are affected by this particular area. I know when I do earth work and grid work, there's certain times I can feel the land and I can feel the grief and the sadness. And although I may not consciously know what took place there, I can tell some things happened there that were not pleasant. And oftentimes I'll offer love and light and healing through some kind of ceremony to connect with the earth. And I guess, basically repent for whatever took place there that didn't honor our planet, you know? So things could be anything. It could be clothing. It could be furniture. It could be things you do on a regular basis, but they just don't feel good. They don't serve. They bring a low vibe, or they seem to undermine your energy, or you find yourself in an emotional space that's not pleasant. Be aware of those things you need to release or detox. I know with clothing, throughout the years, I've released clothes, I've released shoes, I've released purses, because at one point in my life, I think I just had too much of those things. But there have been times, several times throughout the course of my life, that I've released clothing, either donated or gave away, in some cases thrown away, depending on the energy associated with the things. But being able to recognize, just do the articles of clothing and the furniture and the wall decor or whatever it is in your home, does it serve? Does it help? Does it feel aligned? Okay. And if it doesn't, give yourself permission to release and even detox from the energy of those things. Food. Okay. Food. Nutrition is key. Healthy is important, right? Drinking plenty of water. But with food, sometimes we have to release the carbs. Sometimes we have to release the extra fat. Sometimes we have to release the sweets. A friend of mine had to release the salty, crunchy things because those things were associated with a negative coping strategy. And then with food, realizing, like, for example, my family's from the South of the United States. Part of my family is from the South. And that particular side, I grew up where we made homemade peach cobbler, homemade apple cobbler, homemade pecan pies from pecans, from my grandfather's yard, all kinds of stuff, lemon cakes and, rich things, etouffees and, just lots of homemade, wonderful, amazing stuff, pralines and pecan candy and like homemade ice cream and sweet potato pie and all this stuff that is so good and yummy because it's homemade and made with lots of love, but lots of sugar and lots of carbs. And so learning to let go of things that don't serve and are not aligned with, your channel. Because I know for me, if I were to eat all that stuff, my channel would not be clear. I'd be super bloated all the time and have carb crashes and, sugar highs. And what I have found for me is that too much sugar can create a low, and I don't want to sink into a depression. So sugar can be like a drug, so just being very careful what kinds of foods you're eating. And for my family, although those types of Southern comfort foods are associated with warmth and love and family and welcoming, because I grew up in a family where in some of the states where we're from, neighbors would come over and eat with us on Sunday, or special occasions were not just about your immediate family. You expected extended family members and friends and neighbors, maybe coworkers, to participate. So there was always a lot of food, especially on Sundays and holidays. There was always a lot of food, so much food that everybody who showed up would be able to take some food home, and then there'd still be food left over. And those are beautiful memories. And yet there's also energy, I'll just speak for my family, associated with some of those memories that's not so positive and not so pleasant, and especially difficult as an empath navigating, the family chaos and the family dynamic. So be aware of how food affects you. know when to eat, know what to eat, know how much to eat, portion sizes. It sounds so basic, but for the empath, this could really make the difference between whether your channel is clear and whether you have the energy to show up and deal with life, right? Whatever's thrown at you. Of course, toxic traits, personality flaws, ego. Be aware of things that are actually genuine interest or desires versus what is actually an ego encapsulated view. Now, for empaths, most empaths don't have a big ego. In fact, empaths can be devaluing, and they're often introverted. They can sit in the background. They don't want to necessarily be seen. They want to hide. So I don't find a lot of empaths, generally speaking, with big ego. However, depending on the family that you were raised in, and if there are any narcissistic constructs like with your parents or early caregivers, you may have taken on certain traits that make you come off like you are prideful or narcissistic or ego encapsulated. That false self is the byproduct of, being energy sensitive and taking on the energy signature of many people around you before you know how to ground and anchor yourself as an empath. Being an empath is such an incredible lifelong learning experience filled with so many lessons. And some of those lessons are learning how to be true to ourselves, recognizing who we truly are, anchoring in our own personal integrity, grounding in that, and showing up as light, regardless to whether you're understood or misunderstood. So, how do we keep our channel clear, release and detox as needed, be the true self, be the true self, be the best self, and be the highest self? So, as an instrument of light, we are co-creating with the divine, God, the universe, creator, the source. Okay, we are co-creating, and we are assisting, helping, and healing the collective of humans, as well as other light workers, star seeds, and way showers. In order to be able to show up as the highest light, we have to be true to ourselves and be the best self and be the highest version of ourselves moment to moment, keeping the channel clear, being cognizant of the foods that we're taking in and the people that we're allowing in and the people that we're hanging in with, and watching how much we allow ourselves to be drained. So what we want to learn to do is go from less drain to more energized or more refreshing. We want to learn to decrease experiences, situations, and interactions that cause a lot of energy drain. And we want to trade that over time. And it can take years. It takes some time to learn how to do this. Protect our energy, secure our foundation, keep the bubble of protection around us so that after we've shared our light in whatever capacity we've done that, we walk away from those situations, those people, those experiences still feeling filled up as opposed to drained, okay? And at the end of the day, we want to celebrate who we are. This is a beautiful way to replenish our light. Celebrate our high vibe, knowing that attracts our tribe. Celebrate that. Celebrate the experiences that are aligned and people, places, situations, things that support the light work that we're doing. That is a wonderful way to keep the channel clear. Go within, meditate, pray, connect with the divine, and allow that divine support to anchor and shield us and protect us and teach us, knowing that we're not alone. We do have support of the divine. All we have to do is ask and allow. But in addition, don't forget to celebrate. Sometimes as empaths, we're hard timing this life. You know, we're going through it. It's like, oh my gosh, every day's of this or that. There's chaos and there's you know, somebody to heal over here and somebody to help over there, and it's too much. And when does it ever stop? Don't forget, dear empaths, please, to have some fun and to celebrate all that you are and the beautiful light that you're bringing. Can you imagine a world without light? It would be so dark. And so thank you for showing up. Don't forget to celebrate all that you are, all that you've overcome, all the things you've integrated to be here in this present now. I mean, look at all that you have overcome just to be here, just to be this positive, beautiful force of light, showing up, doing your best, giving your all. Bravo. So those are your encouragement tips for this week, October 24th through the 30th. I hope you all are doing great, and continue to honor yourselves, continue to just show up as best as you can. And remember, you are so important. You're so, so special. And we at Empath Heart Healing see you. We witness you. And we honor your light. Blessings. Have a beautiful, beautiful week.